big, complex question, but at its core, it really addresses two questions. Can someone lose their salvation? But the other side of the coin is, can we be sure of our salvation? To the first question, can someone lose their salvation? We need to begin by asking a question of that question, which is, what would cause someone to lose their salvation? The answer that's usually given when that question is asked is that they walked away from their faith. This has to cause us to ask, well, did that person really ever believe in the first place? To quote Keith Green, he said, going to church makes you a Christian as much as going to McD's makes you a Happy Meal. And what the quote's getting at is, there's many in church who aren't really there because they're convicted of their sin. There's many in churches every week who are there because it's just something they've always done or grown up doing, or they want an emotional experience, or maybe they want God to give them something, money, healing, a hot spouse. Just being in church and singing songs, even identifying as a Christian, it doesn't make someone a Christian. In Matthew 7:21, Jesus said, "Not everyone who says to me, 'Lord, Lord,' will enter the kingdom of heaven." That's because some people have called out to Jesus not for saving from their sins, but for something else, whether that's money or health or that hot spouse. Many don't come to Jesus because they're convicted of their sin, and then later on they walk away back into their sinful life, evidencing the fact they were never saved to begin with. In 1 John 2:19, John speaks to these people who walk away from their faith in this way. He says, "They went out from us because they were not of us. For if they'd been of us, they would have continued with us. But they went out so that it might become plain they were not of us." And so, to answer this first question, can you lose your salvation? The answer is that real salvation can't be lost. So when we see people walking away, it's because they were never actually Christians to begin with. In Philippians 1:6, Paul says this, "I am sure of this. I'm sure he who began a work in you will bring it to completion." Which tells us the Holy Spirit is the one who began the work of salvation in us. And if he actually really did that work, then he will finish it as well. And this leads us right into the second question, the other side of the coin. Can we have assurance of salvation? And if so, how do we know we're saved? Because the Holy Spirit's convicting you of your sin. Because the Holy Spirit began a good work in us. And if we can see this work in us of him convicting us, then we have this assurance that he will finish it. If you have that voice convicting you, then we have this command then from Ephesians 4, where we read, "Don't grieve the Holy Spirit, by whom you were sealed for the day of redemption." We're told don't grieve him because he's in us to do this work, but it doesn't say we'll lose him. It says if we have the Holy Spirit, we can grieve him, but that we've been sealed. We're being held secure. Why? Because, as Hebrews 12 says, God is the author and finisher of our faith. He's the one who started it, and he finishes what he begins. If you want to find out more, we got a link to an article below in the comments that could help you if you want to dive into this topic in greater detail. Additionally, many more resources up at praxischurch.ca.